New day, another indictment. Go figure.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. I'm surviving on top of the line!
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for tuning our way. This is where you get to hear my rants and my ravings on everything from pop culture to politics. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. Please do that. And once you are, smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of all of my rants and flawless reasoned ravings. And please like and share this video to your social media platforms. Thank you. Well, big shocker, everybody. The Georgia indictment has been handed down. And what do you think? Donald Trump actually called Georgia and said, find some votes. Like Al Gore didn't do that against George W. Bush. He didn't call anybody and say, find me those votes in Dade County. Stacey Abrams went how many months and would not concede that she had lost the governorship of Georgia? And even after she finally quasi-acquiesced, still talked months and years after the election that she truly was the real governor of Georgia, when Democrats would fundraise for her after the election, when Hollyweird got involved in their support of Stacey Abrams years after, they still referred to her as the legitimate governor. Why are these people not under indictment? Why are these people not being investigated? Why is it only Donald Trump? And then, of course, let's not forget that all of this and what it's about, they're terrified of him, and it's revenge. This is a double-edged sword. They hate this man. They can't believe that this man was ever actually really elected. And how dare you, you MAGA maggots, how dare you actually exercise the we the people and make a decision, and you didn't pick one of the selected candidates of the oligarch's approval, and you literally went for the real outsider. How dare you? That can never happen again. So they're ticked off, pissed off, mad, so they're coming after him with everything they've got, but it also shows you they're terrified. They're terrified this guy is going to win. And there's a lot going on right now, and I'm not going to speculate about when they're going to throw, Joe Biden overboard, because the problem is they don't want Kamala. A lot of Democrats really don't want Gavin Newsom. And if they can somehow convince Michelle Obama to throw his hat into the ring, yeah, there you go. Because remember, the real reason they are circling the wagons and marshaling their forces is not because they have this great love of crackhead Hunter or even Joe Dementia Biden. This is all about protecting the Obama legacy. And if they can't do it with old Joe, they really don't want to do it with Gavin Newsom, because Gavin is a bit of a problem. See, Gavin Newsom, though he looks like that plastic Ken doll right out of central casting of a Hollywood movie studio, he is so fake and he is so plastic that even the Democrats don't know that they can trust him to tout the party line. Now, it isn't that if he got in there, he wouldn't do a bunch of libloon crap, because he certainly would. But he's not necessarily going to do what the party bosses want done. Now, he's already proven that. The real reason that California is having to languish with Diane Frankenstein, aimlessly rambling and wandering the halls of Congress, and they haven't officially put her out to pasture, despite the fact she is literally mentally gone. She is totally, completely Alzheimer gone. But you've got Nancy Botox Pelosi lying to the American people, to the people of California. This woman who has to have Dianne Feinstein has literally given power of attorney over to her daughter regarding her own personal decisions. That means she knows that she is not mentally cognitive to be able to represent herself, because right now apparently the family is embroiled in a legal battle over Diane's late husband and a summer home that the kids are fighting over. And so the oldest daughter has been granted power of attorney on behalf of Dianne Feinstein. So Dianne Feinstein hasn't got the mental acuity to represent herself in court over a personal legal matter, but we're supposed to believe she is perfectly capable of sitting in the Senate and making decisions on behalf of the 40 plus million Americans who live in the state of California. Anybody see the disconnect there? Now, why is she still there? Because Nancy Botox Pelosi and the party bosses want Adam Schiff for brains to have that seat. And Gavin Newsom has already made it clear that he's got a black woman in mind for that seat. So if Dianne were to resign, it would be the governor's purview. It would be his obligation, his duty, to appoint a successor until the next election. And the Democrats don't want Gavin to do that. Why? Because once that person is in there, they will be seen as the incumbent, and it is hard to beat an incumbent, and it is hard to smack against one of your own party members. So Gavin Newsom has already proven he will not play by all of their rules. That he really does envision himself as, see, he is a total narcissist. He really does think he is as brilliant as he thinks other people think he is. So if they can get Michelle Obama to agree to step in to protect his husband's legacy, Barack, then Manchelle Obama it is. And you will see how quickly the media will absolutely throw Hunter under the bus. They will connect the dots that are there between Joe Biden and the illegal business dealings of what went on in Ukraine, what went on in Beijing. At worst, they are undeclared foreign agents. At the very worst, this rises to the level of treason. That access was literally being sold. And we can kind of see that Hunter making $80,000 a month and Dad getting the attorney general out of the way that was breathing down the neck of Burisma for corruption. And now look at the billions Ukraine has been given by us. No votes have been taken. You and I haven't signed off on these hundreds of billions of dollars that have been sent to Ukraine. And what is that all about? It's payback time, baby. You talk about collusion, you talk about corruption, you talk about manipulation and control by a foreign entity of a sitting president. The Trump-Russia collusion was pure fiction, and nobody went to jail for that. But they want to throw Donald Trump in jail for saying there were problems in the last election. Now let's get straight with this thing with Georgia. Even if he had found the votes that he wanted to flip that razor-thin margin, that would not have gotten him to 270. So why did he make such a big thing about it? Because Georgia and Nevada, there was definite, provable, on videotape, corruption. Votes being magically brought out from under tables hours after the election was over, and all of the official counters and watchdog groups had been sent home. Because we'll resume this in the morning, and then in come this group of counters. They're like, who are these people? And all of a sudden, they're pulling bins out from underneath tables with no one there to supervise. And all of these bins just happen to be filled with Biden votes. They didn't vote for anything else on that ballot. They didn't vote for any of the other things going on in Georgia that night, but they all managed to check off Biden. Well, you know. No, we don't, because it's a problem. You know, every piece of American currency, every dollar bill, $5 bill, $10 bill, every piece of American currency that's floating around out here has a serial number on it. Every one. For some reason we couldn't put serial numbers on ballots. Bump, ba-dum, bump. Voter ID. If everybody voted on the same day, we wouldn't have these problems, boys and girls. It's all of this early voting crapola that's opened the door. All of these mail-in ballots that they have no way of really corroborating that if it's legit or not. And that was the point Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani were trying to make. But now they're under indictment for claiming election fraud. Again, what about all these other Democrats that Hillary Rodham Clinton still talks about 2016 being stolen from her? Why is she not under indictment? You independent voters, especially the ones of you that are really, you don't want an establishment candidate, ding, 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 ding. Look how hard the establishment is going after Donald Trump. And by the way, I am now going to say this here. I may be the first one in conservative media to say it. I don't know. I'm going to say it. Ron DeSantis is in on this. Ron Deep State DeSantis is in on this. He wants this. The real reason he threw his hat in the ring and he's run this, forgive me for saying it this way, half-ass campaign where he's kind of, I'm not doing all of these interviews and I'm not going here and I'm not doing that and my team doesn't return the phone calls of other conservative media outlets that are interested in talking to me because I got this nomination in the bag because I already know Trump is going to be disqualified. He's in on this. He's in on this. 2 years into the Trump presidency, I called Mike Pence the enemy within. Even before COVID, even before there was an election problem, I said Mike Pence is the traitor inside the White House. He is the deep state guard dog in the Trump administration. Was I right? Was I right? Ron DeSantis is in on this. Look, we already know the rhinos are part of this. And I'm not just talking about the Liz Cheneys and the, Witness Protection Romney, Paul Ryan, Bitch McConnell. They're all in on this. They don't want Donald Trump back in office. Why? Because they can't upset the global agenda of the military-industrial complex. And Donald Trump will obliterate that. Ron DeSantis tries to talk like Trump. I'm going to stop the deep state. Bullhawk. You're in hock to the deep state. They've got the goods on you, especially with the Gitmo torture program. You are part of the deep state. Oh, they'll let you have the social issue wins. They don't care. See, these people are not ideologues that way. They could care less about the social laws that you and I have to deal with. The literal LGBTQ bullies that are out there and the drag queens that are, literally trying to get their claws into your children. They don't care about any of that. They don't care if the person in the White House has traditional values or Sodom and Gomorrah values. They don't care as long as they're part of the globalist agenda. They will let Ron DeSantis have the so-called justice wins, and they won't mind that too much because it'll keep the conservatives shut up and in line. What they can't have is a Donald Trump who goes in there with the right social issues, but also ends the corruption. That they can't have. That's what all of these indictments are about. There's no point in sitting here and talking about this one at a time and breaking it down. This whole thing is bullhawk, with one exception to this Georgia indictment. It's a state indictment. See, they want to make sure that if by some chance, and there's a really good chance if it's not Donald Trump, that a different Republican gets elected, that there would be mounting pressure, even from the quasi-Republicans, to give Donald Trump a pardon on the Alvin Bragg stuff, the Jack Smith stuff. You know, give him a pardon on the documents. Give him a pardon on the January 6th stuff. There can be no presidential pardon on these charges out of Georgia. These are state charges. This is the Hail Mary right here. This is the ball game right here. This is designed to take him out of being able to campaign. Why do you think his first trial date is the day before the Iowa caucus? And of course, every day when you see the cameras, it'll show Donald Trump getting out of his limo. He'll wave, he'll head into the courtroom, and the narrative will be, Trump looks worried. Trump looks disheveled. Trump looks agitated. You think? And I'm telling you, Team DeSantis is already saying these things. Why? They're in on it. Team DeSantis, oh, Donald Trump showed up at the Iowa fair, but he didn't stay long. Most Americans couldn't give a flying flip if he went to the Iowa fair. Donald Trump is going to take Iowa by a landslide. DeSantis has put all his eggs in that basket. You're about to see him crushed, Ronnie boy. So this is where we're at. And make no mistake about it. It isn't just some of these Republican candidates, Mike Pence, Ron DeSantis. It isn't just they're kind of hanging around in this primary cycle, just kind of hoping something happens and they get their shot. No, they're part of the takedown of Donald Trump. Mike Pence, you walking piece of vermin. Stop calling yourself a Christian. As an ordained minister of the gospel, as one who truly knows what it means to have Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, you stop defaming the Savior. Stop claiming to be one of His. You are a liar. You are vermin. You are a wretch. You are a traitor. This is where we're at, boys and girls. This is the game. The deep state. And you're seeing all of it now. The Democrats, the Republicans, same side of the different sides of the same coin. This ruling oligarch, this ruling class elite, how dare you, the people, think you get to pick. This is literally the mask being ripped off and you get to see Satan in action. And the visceral hatred they have for Donald Trump ought to tell you this is the guy. Get behind him, support him, because he's the only one that can make this stuff stop.